Hey guys, how's it going? Tool Cruise here, checking in with. So we're going to be going for a nice little evening bike ride here, talking about some of our future travel plans, going to Singapore and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with today's ride.
Let's go.
Let's go. So we're starting here on the outskirts of Da Nang, Vietnam. We're going to be cycling down to Hoi An today. So one of our main popular flat routes here. Enjoying the nicer, cooler weather right now. So I think, I'm afraid to say this, but I'm crossing my fingers that summer is over. Maybe it's a little bit cooler than it usually is this time of day. About a degree or two Celsius lower than usual. So dare I say it, summer is over and work is also over. Everyone's starting their commute home, so we got to be careful with this crossing. And it's been a long, hot summer here. I can't believe how hot it's been. Like, we're pretty used to the hot because it gets pretty hot in the Japanese summer as well. But this is like the hottest point of the Japanese summer, which is usually about a month in Japan, extended for about like 3 months here in Vietnam. So it's been pretty rough. Like 37 degrees Celsius is the regular temperature, but the real feel is way over 40 with all the humidity. Like it's been hot. So this slightly cooler weather in the evening, like we're really noticing a difference right now, and really excited to get some cooler weather. Although I hear there's a pretty nasty rainy season here in Da Nang in the fall, so not looking forward to it raining every day, but hopefully we can get some cooler days without the rain as well. Chunchan's looking good in her new red kit. Give a thumbs up, let us know if you guys like her new kit. We wear all of our Santic gear from our awesome sponsor and love their clothes. Link down below if you want to go check out their homepage and check out some of their new kits. And Tung really likes this new red kit that she's wearing today. Always good to wear bright colors when you're doing evening, night kind of rides. I've got my bright orange kit on right now as well. So let's go into an update on our travel plans. We just uploaded a video talking about how we're going to be going to Singapore, and we started making preparations for that. At the time of that video, we had just booked our flight tickets and nothing else. So thank you all for all of your awesome suggestions and comments. I started making a travel document with memos and listing everything that you guys have suggested. We're going to be doing a bunch of bike shop tour visits. We're also going to be collaborating with Mobot, which is the maker of the folding bike that we have here. And they're kindly going to lend us some bikes to use while we're in town and also help us with a few other things. So really looking forward to that. And thank you all to everyone who offered to lend us some bikes while we're in town. This is going to be our first trip to Singapore. Hopefully we can make this a regular thing. It's a close enough flight. And once we figure out how things work there, like good places to stay, good places to ride, hopefully next time we can do some more like serious road bike rides. But for this time around, I think we're just going to stick with the folding bikes and keep it simple. And that leads me to my next point, and that is we made a very, very big mistake when preparing for this trip. I am not very good when it comes to planning things, I'll be honest. It's one of the reasons we don't like travel as much as we should or as we could. And that's just, I really hate planning. That goes for like every aspect of my life. It goes for traveling. But I don't know, I just find it really stressful to like make a plan, have to figure out all the logistics of everything. And when I have traveled in the past, I generally like to just wing it. So I've always just bought my flight ticket and then figured out everything else as we went along. Like, where should we stay? I've had some days, like some visits to countries where I didn't even have a hotel booking until I got there and just like walked around until I found a place. And that is a very bad habit to have, because situations like this can happen, and that is, I didn't realize there was a big F1 international event going on during the dates that we're going to be in Singapore. So, huge mistake on my part. I did look up general hotel information and it didn't look that bad, but that was before we decided on the dates of our actual flight. So I was looking at dates that were close to when we were going, but not at the actual exact dates that we were going. So unfortunately, that means that pretty much every single hotel room had been fully booked, and the few that were remaining were mostly like super low reviews, like really bad quality, really dirty, like no Wi-Fi, and every hotel price, it just jacked up the price like 3 times what the normal amount was. So my mistake quickly became apparent as we started looking for hotels to book, and I was really panicking because I did not want to spend like $1,000 or $2,000 on hotel rooms. That was ridiculous to me and like way over our budget. Fortunately, we did find a few places that we could stay. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to stay at the same place the whole time. Like, I don't think there were any hotels that had open bookings for the full week. So we're going to have to go back and forth between some places, but we ended up finding some space at some capsule hotels, some different capsule hotels. So the nice thing about the capsule hotels is they usually have a higher standard of like cleanliness. They're pretty clean, they're pretty safe, and really well organized, and usually well run. But the other nice thing is they're really close to downtown, so we should be able to walk to all of the main attractions, and we'll have the folding bikes as well, so everything should be within walking, cycling distance. So really looking forward to that. But even so, it's kind of funny. Our first booking isn't too bad because it's before the event, so I think like our hotel is like $50, $60 a night. Not too bad. The second half of our hotel bookings is just insane. It's like $150, $200 per night for a capsule hotel. So it is what it is. I'm learning from my mistake. Always check to see if there's a big international event that's going to book all the hotels and raise all the prices when you're planning to go somewhere. Don't make the same mistake I did. Fortunately though, the main stressful parts of the planning are over. We've got our flight booked, we've got our hotels booked, we've got our bicycles reserved. Those are the most important things. Everything else should fall in place. We've got a nice list of places we want to go. It looks like there's a bunch of awesome, cool bike paths there and a huge cycling community in Singapore. Like, we can't wait to check it out and see everything. We have gotten a couple requests like from people who want to meet up and maybe go for a ride. We're gonna try and figure something out. We haven't done any like fan meetups or group rides like that in a long time. But we might try and organize some kind of like little group ride where we can meet a few people that are in Singapore. I think that'd be really cool. And we'll post that on one of our social media pages, on Facebook, on the YouTube community page, or Instagram. So make sure you're following those other pages as well if you're interested in meeting up while we're in Singapore. Tung is a little bit bummed that she's not going to have a road bike in Singapore though. She was starting to look at the KOM stuff and she really wants to go like KOM hunting in Singapore. So I think we're definitely going to have to plan another trip over there when it's not like peak travel season and we know like where to stay, the good places to go, and maybe we can go for a little bit longer and keep things a little bit cheaper if we can find a nicer place to stay where we don't necessarily have to be downtown in like the main tourist center. Hopefully things would be cheaper if we go that way, and then we could do some proper like road bike cycling around there, cross the border into Malaysia, do some cool epic rides. So I think we're going to plan another trip. Like, fortunately the plane tickets there aren't too bad. It's about $150 for a round trip ticket, but if we fly with the bikes it's probably going to be like $300, a bit more. That's the difficulty of being a cycling YouTuber who travels. Normal travel YouTubers, they just need to bring a backpack and they can film whatever. We gotta bring our bikes. So it's a lot more expensive and a lot more logistics to worry about. I think that holds us back from like doing more traveling. Unless we switch to doing like more bike packing kind of stuff. Like realistically, we could cycle all the way to Singapore. Like I had this crazy thought in my mind when we were looking at maps the other day. I was like, wait, we can just cycle through like Cambodia, like through Thailand, into Malaysia, and then down to Singapore. Like we could totally do that. It'd be a huge time commitment and like financial commitment, but I think that'd be a really cool adventure. But then the problem arises, like, where do we keep all of our stuff? Do we like just rent an apartment during that entire time just to store all of our luggage? And like logistically, it's just a nightmare, like trying to think about that stuff. But I mean, life is short. you might as well try and go on adventures while you can. Here's the chaos section. You gotta be careful here. School's out. And yeah, the roads here, no rules, just go wherever. I am really excited to cycle on some orderly roads. I'm pre-assuming that the roads are gonna be orderly in Singapore, but based on the videos that I've seen there, it's pretty similar to Japan. There's a lot of footpaths and the drivers are pretty respectful. People follow the rules. There's some pretty strict fines for like breaking the rules in Singapore. Apparently it's like illegal to chew gum in Singapore. And of course littering, there's huge fines. So of course I'm perfectly okay with all of this. Like I hate littering. I hate when I see people who litter. Unfortunately, we see it every day here. And yeah, we're not gum chewers, so I think we'll be okay. Some other negative things I've heard is like the alcohol is really expensive because of the taxes, but we don't really drink. Like I think we've had like maybe 1 or 2 drinks in the last few years. So we're not really heavy alcohol drinkers. We're not gum chewers. We're not litterers. And we follow rules for the most part. So I think we'll fit in pretty good there. Looking forward to it. So it's actually already less than 1 week until our departure day. So the countdown has begun. So excited. And it's been a stressful last few days just trying to prepare everything logistically. And one other sort of stressful thing that's come up with this is our apartment lease is ending. We started with a 6-month contract and we were considering like, should we stay there? Should we find a new place? What should we do? But unfortunately, our landlord has decided that she wants to raise our rent. She hasn't decided how much she wants to raise our rent yet. So like she's making us wait until she decides how much she wants to raise rent on us. And so, I don't know. I think if our rent is going up, we're already paying more than I'd like to be paying. So I think we're gonna find a new place to move to because it's just not worth it. Like we could be saving a lot more money on our rent, especially if we're gonna be doing more traveling. There's no point in paying for a more expensive apartment. Like we live in a high floor in a nice modern building, but we could be spending half the money and still have the same amount of space just without the view. We don't need the view. One other thing that's been stressful is we're just looking for new places to stay, and it's a little tough doing apartment hunting here because like there's a lot of posts, there's a lot of people on Facebook, but there's a lot of shady people as well. Like we've already experienced so much like false advertising. Someone will post this place like with these pictures and then we'll ask about it and they're like, actually the price is more than that. In the picture you looked at, like it's not available. There's a different room that's way less appealing and it costs more. So that's already happened to us a couple times. So we're looking for a new place. The next Tubal Cruise layer, hopefully we can find this all smoothly because we have less than a week remaining after we get back from our Singapore trip. So everything needs to go smoothly. Like we'll be away from the country for a while. We'll be coming back and need to like move immediately after that. Hopefully all the timing will work out, and yeah, it's just one of those timings where a lot of things are coinciding at once. But who knows, maybe if our landlady is nice and decides not to raise our rent by that much, we might consider staying just because it's stressful moving. But yeah, I guess market prices are going up again here in Vietnam now that like tourism's getting back to normal. There's a lot more tourists here now, like Western tourists. So yeah, I think things are going back to whatever the normal was before COVID happened, and yeah, good for business owners, good for hotels. So one of the nice things about this path down to Hoi An is like there's very few traffic lights, so you can keep going at a decent speed for most of the route. That's one of the appealing things about riding here. Of course, the bad thing is there's a decent amount of traffic, especially this time of day when everyone's getting off of work. Yeah. Always smoke, always something burning. But yeah, definitely noticing this small little temperature change right now. Like it's almost, dare I say, borderline like a cool breeze as the wind like blows into the sweat on my jersey, because you're always sweating here because of the humidity. And usually, like, you're just always hot. Even with the wind, it's a hot wind. But this is like the first time since summer started here where like I'm not just like hot, which is nice. So hope this cooler weather keeps continuing and we get a little bit cooler evenings. I don't mind if it's hot during the day, but it's overkill if it's continually hot, like after the sun goes down and it's like late in the evening. Like if you go out and just stand outside in the evening and you start sweating, you know it's hot. But I like it a little cooler in the evening. This is a nice little rest stop, by the way. There's a convenience store here. There's a few night stands that's set up along this road. So we sometimes stop here for snacks on our ride when we start heading back to Da Nang. So the last time we cycled in a video down to Hoi An, we went straight through here and then turned right a little bit later. We're gonna turn right here this time, show you guys a little bit different of a route. There's a couple different ways to get over to the city once you're over here. They're all pretty nice. Actually, from here, this is where there's a lot less traffic on the road and the road gets really wide. Chen doing a little interval. Oh man. Yeah, nice views over the rivers. Oh man, she's cooking it. You gotta be careful, like people always just pull out into the road. Usually they don't look. And sometimes they stay over to the right like those guys, that was good. But often they don't, they just go on the road. So always gotta be careful. No. Here's another nice little stretch of road we got. I like this part because we got two main sections. We've also got the bike section over here, so plenty of space. Flat, really strong crosswind right now. So you can do some good training efforts over here. And yeah, it's just a lot less stinky over here. Like the main road we were going through before, it can get kind of stinky just because of all those bikes. Like the bike's just really stinky. And here it's just a lot more open space. There's a lot less like congestion of bikes. So you get some cleaner air, which is nice. And you can just keep going straight on this road for a long time. It's usually like the long flat training ride that people do. All right guys, it's starting to get a little bit too dark here to continue filming, but wanted to give you guys a little update before we head to Singapore. And probably by the time that this video is uploaded, we'll be just about to head over there. So we're really excited and looking forward to our trip and filming a bunch of video for you guys. So stay tuned for some upcoming Singapore travel videos. And we want to say a special thank you to all of our awesome supporters over on Patreon. Thanks to your guys' support, we're able to continue filming more videos like this. So thank you guys so much. That's it for today's video. We'll see you next time on To a Cruise.